he is the first one to submit it to Allah. So there is a lesson in this verse of the Quran, as there is in many verses of the Quran al-Majid. First and foremost, that Rasulullah ﷺ is saying that my salah, that no doubt my salah and my sacrifices and my life and my death, they are all for Allah. So there is the salah of Rasulullah ﷺ is unparalleled, it is unique. Our salah cannot be like the salah of Rasulullah. As he himself ﷺ is unique. There is no other creation like him. He is the best of all creation. There is no salah like the salah of Rasulullah ﷺ. There are no sacrifices like the sacrifices made by Rasulullah ﷺ. No one's life is like the life of Rasulullah ﷺ. No one's death is like the death of the passing away of Rasulullah ﷺ. He is the perfect exemplification of this verse of the Quran al-Majid, and it also reminds us of the sacrifices made by Sayyiduna Ibrahim Khalilullah ala Nabiyyina wa alayhi salatu wassalam. As nothing could come between him and his love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his submission to Allah azza wa jal. This is what we should learn from this. We, ulama say that we remember the qurbani, the sacrifice, but we forget the lessons that are behind this qurbani. And the lessons are within the conversation that the father and son had. For all of us, this is what we should be reflecting on and trying to bring a change within ourselves. We have become distanced from Islam, unfortunately. And this also tells us, this verse, that all our acts of worship should only be for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is why Rasulullah is saying it is lillahi rabbil alameen. It is for Allah. Your salah should be for Allah only, not for ostentation, not for any other reason, only for Allah. And your sacrifices, the qurbani that we do, there should be no element of ostentation, of showing off, of dikhawa, of boasting that my animal is, it costs this much, it is better than your animal, etc. In any act of worship, we should be only seeking the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the rida of Allah azza wa jal. There should be no other motive or niyyah behind that. And likewise in our entire life, it should be lived to seek the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And likewise the death. Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was tested for his love that he had for Allah azza wa jal with sacrifices. This entire life is a test for all believers. It is not heaven on earth, it is Darul Bala, the place of trial and tribulation. As we can see how the Palestinian Muslims and other Muslims around the world, like in Kashmir, in Burma, they are going through immense trial and tribulation. The greater the test, the greater the reward with Allah, which is eternal. This life is temporary. We may think that they are going through immense pain and suffering, no doubt. But those Muslims are a lot stronger than you and I are, than us. Look at their resilience, look at their tolerance, look at their sabr. And they are making all those sacrifices. They are being tested with their children, with their loved ones. But just look at their submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They continue to perform their acts of worship. They continue to follow Islam. And we should learn from this. And not a single soul will be treated with injustice. As inna Allah la yadhlimu mithqala dharra. Allah does not do dhulm, injustice, not even equal to a little particle of dust. So their reward with Allah is eternal. They are becoming shaheed. And even if they survive, their reward is such that we cannot compete with those people. Allah remove them from this test and tribulation and destroy the oppressors. We should continue to remember them in our du'as, in our supplications on a daily basis, and continue with the boycotts. And we should not be voting for those parties in the general election which are supportive of the Zionist regime, such as the Labour Party and the Conservative Party. They openly support the genocide. Otherwise, you will also be part and parcel of this. This will be your complicity. You will be complicit in this, and it will be complicitness on your part. And each and every one of us are going to be questioned for our actions. As mentioned in Surah Al-Zilzal, that فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَى, that whoever does an action equal to an atom of weight, a little particle of dust, you do an action which is equal to that size, which is good, he will see it. It is recorded and registered. And whoever does an action equal to a particle of dust which is shar, وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ, he will see it. It will be recorded. So you should ignore those people who come to you and they request you to vote for them if those parties are supporting the Zionist regime. And we know that the Conservative and the Labour parties are. I'm not aware of the others. I've heard that the Independent Party isn't. You should vote for those parties who are against the genocide. So coming back to this, Sayyiduna Ibrahim, ala nabina wa alayhi salatu wassalam, he was tested. Two men appeared before him